Welcome back, everybody. As we move towards writing our character analysis, one thing I always like to share is the most common error that students of the past make when writing this paper, and that is writing a plot summary. And this is easy to do. This is easy to do because plot is just what happens. And that's what we're drawn to when we read a story, of course, the action. We all like a good action movie, right? But when we write a plot summary, we're failing to include analysis of the character, and that's our purpose in writing. Analysis yields why. Why is much more important than what. So we need to avoid plot summary. So here's an example of a thesis statement that's going to yield a plot summary, and that's what we want to avoid. And this is from the short story by Willa Cather, Paul's Case. As Cather reveals Paul's story, the reader learns Paul seems dissatisfied with his life in Pittsburgh on Cordelia Street, flees with stolen money to New York City, and sadly decides to commit suicide. Why does this get the unhappy emoji? Well, we're just retelling the events of the story. That's all we're doing here, is we're just saying what Paul did, right? Paul grew unhappy, right? He was unhappy with where he lived, so he stole some money, made a getaway, and then he commits suicide. That's just telling what. So this is what we need to avoid. So how could we fix this? How could we fix this? This would be an example of a thesis statement that's going to yield character analysis. As Cather reveals Paul's story, the reader learns about elements of Paul's character that inevitably come together and cause his suicide. Paul takes his own life as a result of his inability to conform to society, his passive nature, and his emotional isolation. Wow, this is so much better, right? If we look at this, right? You can look at this. That is an event. People say, well, hey, Mr. K, that's an event. And you mentioned that right there with the plot summary that gets the unhappy emoji. There's our event. But now, notice we go from that to this. We go from a what to a why. And this yields analysis. So just like we looked at earlier with reading a story and getting highlighters and marking it up and annotating the text, had to do the same thing with Paul's case. And then I realized, oh, wow, right? There's stuff about Paul, about his character, that caused his suicide, right? So that yields my analysis. So that's what you want to look at when you do your analysis. Of course, not every character is going to commit suicide, but think about that character as a person. Think about that character as you. Why do you do certain things? Because elements of your personality. And that's what you want to focus upon when you're doing your character analysis. And continuing here, I'd like to give everybody a tip for writing a successful character analysis. And you want to use the rule of three. Follow the rule of three and make an outline using the rule of three. So your thesis statement is going to have three clear topics of discussion that are going to be named, going to be listed. Right? So if we look at this example thesis statement again, what do we see? We see one, we see two, we see 3. Okay. Inability to conform to society, passive nature, emotional isolation. In turn, right, each point in that thesis becomes a topic sentence. So I'm already, by lining these up, I've already decided upon their order of presentation in the body paragraphs. So here we go, right? They just drop down. Inability to conform to society, right? So that gives me a topic sentence. This could be topic sentence for body paragraph 1. The second, the same thing, gives me my topic sentence. Then, likewise, that third point. Once I have my topic sentences written, I'm just one step away from going in and then adding a concluding sentence below each topic sentence. And you'll notice here, right? What do we see? The concluding sentences echo that idea of the topic sentence that comes from our thesis statement. You see it there. We see it here, topic sentence, concluding sentence. Right? Topic sentence, concluding sentence. There we go. Then, once you have this outline done, right? You're going to have your thesis statement first, using the rule of 3, no plot summary, then topic sentence, and then concluding sentence. And then you draft your paper. And it's going to be so easy, right? And again, when we take a look at a completed paper like this, a lot of people think that this is how it starts. Nope. It starts with the story, right? Annotating the text, coming up with a true analysis and not a plot summary. So keep all of that in mind before we take a look at this example paper, which we'll do in the next lecture.